So, when you think about a top executive, what's their main job? You probably think it's managing their team, right? Driving performance, hitting all those targets. But what if that's really only half the story? What if the most critical work they do isn't managing down at all, but orchestrating this huge symphony of stakeholders? And that brings us to this really fundamental question. Who is a leader's most important audience? I mean, your first thought is probably their team, or maybe their customers. But the answer to that is shifting in a big way, and it's totally redefining what it even means to be an executive today. And this really lays it all out. On the left, you've got that traditional view. Leadership is all top-down, a command structure. But the modern mandate? It's completely different. It's about managing up to the board and across to your peers. This isn't just a small pivot, you guys. This is a complete reorientation of an executive's entire focus. So this is the core challenge for leaders right now. Look, being a great manager of people just isn't enough anymore. You have to be a masterful aligner of interests, of expectations, and of visions, and not just for your own team, but for the entire company. What this really means is that an executive's number one job is now to actively engage the board and investors. But listen, it's not about just drowning them in a bunch of data. It's about telling a clear, consistent story that shows foresight. You're building confidence in the future, not just reporting on what happened in the past. So that brings us to the core skill set that you have to have, managing up and across. And let's be super clear here. This isn't about schmoothing or office politics. Nope. This is about strategic communication and really building deep trust. This is the new foundation of effective leadership. Okay, so how do you actually do it? Well, the goal is genuine trust. And you build that by creating this transparent narrative that connects what's really happening on the ground, the operational realities, with the company's big long-term vision. It proves you've got a firm grip on both today and tomorrow. So let's break down the actual skills. Of course, you've got to have financial fluency and understand risk. That's a given. But look at the other two. Mastery of strategic storytelling and balancing short-term performance with long-term sustainability. This just shows that the modern CXO has to be both a sharp analyst and a really compelling narrator. And this right here, this is such a critical shift in mindset. In the past, you might prep for a big board meeting once a quarter, and that was it. But now that engagement is constant. It's like an open, ongoing channel of communication, and it's designed to anticipate concerns before they can even become problems. So if communication is continuous, how do you stop it from just becoming total chaos? Well, that's where this idea of the rhythm of alignment comes in. It's all about creating a predictable cadence for how governance and big decisions get made so everybody knows what to expect and can actually contribute effectively. This cadence is the framework that moves that whole engagement from being reactive to being proactive. By scheduling regular touchpoints and structuring them for real input, you're actually letting the board help shape the strategy, not just review it after everything's already been decided. I love this quote because it just nails the entire idea perfectly. The goal of this new rhythm is to move your key stakeholders from being passive, just reviewing what's already happened, to being active participants who are co-creating the path forward with you. And honestly, that's a total game changer. And hey, this isn't just some abstract theory. These rhythms take very real concrete forms. Beyond the usual quarterly reviews, think about things like focused strategy sprints, or even a pre-mortem session, which is this really powerful idea where you imagine a project has already failed, and then you work backward to figure out why. It's about spotting the icebergs before you hit them. So when you get all these pieces to come together, the continuous engagement, the right skills, and that predictable rhythm, you're not just managing anymore. You're actually building a true governance ecosystem. The whole point of this ecosystem is to create what's called a virtuous cycle. When trust, transparency, and a predictable cadence are all working together, they just reinforce each other. And the result? It's this powerful sense of alignment where it feels like everyone is finally pulling in the same direction. This visual, it really says it all, doesn't it? You can see how trust, transparency, and cadence are the three essential ingredients. And when you have all three working in perfect harmony, what do you get? Alignment. Right there, dead center. That is the ultimate prize. So this lets us totally redefine the CXO's core role for this new era. They are the chief translator and integrator. Their most important job is to take all these different perspectives from finance, operations, the board, and harmonize them into a single, coherent story for the entire company. And why does that narrative matter so much? Because a story that actually connects all the dots is what sustains confidence through the good times and the bad. And that confidence, that is what gives leaders the license to take bold, decisive action when it's needed most. So we'll end with this question for you to think about. Whether you're a CXO right now or an aspiring leader, just ask yourself, is the work you're doing creating a compelling narrative that inspires real confidence and alignment? Or is it just creating another report? The difference between those two is everything.